Hi, everybody.
It's only 5:59 for us. He was on it today.
Yes, that's right.
Just really, like I have like scratches on my glasses now. I don't know what I did. I did something over the weekend, but there's a like I would try to wipe this off and like, oh no, like it's a gouge in the lens. But I like the frames, so it's not a big deal. It's just a little blurry spot. Oh well. All right, now I'm gonna have that second piece of pizza because like it was done a little bit
Go
early, and
for
I'm like, I don't want it to get cold. I don't want my pizza to get cold. Hi everybody, it's so good to see you. I've missed you.
it. All right, and for some reason my chat widget is not working, so we're just going to hide that for now, and I'll figure that out later. So if you want to look at the chat, you'll have to actually look at the chat in the chat window on the YouTube page. It won't be down there, down below on the in the actual live stream. But hey, minor inconvenience. So hey, we're back.
Hi everybody. Yay!
We, for those of you who are regular viewers of our show, we have been off for Trek Reluctantly for the past 2 weeks because Dana is such a big shot.
It's all my fault, y'all.
Because you're such a big shot. Because you're doing a show. You are once again taking to the stage, and you are starring in a production of Shakespeare in Love. And last week was Tech Week. So you had to,
I'm not
devote.
starring.
You're
I'm
not
featured.
the star.
I'm featured.
Yes. Hi, Kira.
And that was only half of it. That was only the 1 week. Yep. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. I'll shut.
I was just going to say hi to Kira 2011, who posted a member message to say hi, but he won't be here for long. So thanks for dropping in and saying hi. And anyway, yes, you were about to say not both weeks were not because of Shakespeare in Love. The first week was for something else, right?
Yeah, for my ESOL class.
Yes.
So, which I am working on a project for that. Busting it.
You were writing a paper for it literally minutes before we went on the air.
And complaining.
Yes. As
And
you are wont to do when you are writing. I've never had the experience of writing with you or watching you write or being with you while you write where you have not complained.
That is absolutely not true.
Okay. Oh, that's true. Yes, you did have a good time with that. Yes. And that is what? And that is what?
Romeo and Ethel, the pirate's daughter. That is my cast gift. And it's brilliant, I've got to say. So Shakespeare in Love, one of the running gags is that Henslow, who is like the producer that Shakespeare is writing for and acting in mostly in his company, Henslow has commissioned a comedy from Shakespeare called Romeo and Ethel, the Pirate's Daughter. Indeed. And it's supposed to, let me see, how did we put it? Involving quarreling families, mistaken identities, love triumphant, and a bit with the dog. And so yeah, that's part of the bit. And then he keeps bringing in stuff, and it ends up as Romeo and Juliet. And Hensel's like, all this, then apothecary. When do we get to the pirates? Where are the pirates? When do we get to the bit with the dog? And so it becomes Romeo and Juliet, which not only does not have a bit with the dog, is not a comedy at all. It's a tragedy. And so for my cast gift, I wrote Romeo and Ethel, the Pirate's Daughter. And it's absolutely brilliant. I don't know what it is about me. I write stuff that I end up liking, but mostly I just hate writing. But on very rare occasions, I get an idea and everything just comes to me in the space of about half an hour to 45 minutes. And it's done. And it's great. This was one of those very rare times.
When you are touched by the muse, you know?
I wish it happened more often. That would be so...
I know. A couple people in the chat have mentioned it, and since we haven't talked about it yet, the passing of Arlene Sorkin, who, of course, was the original voice
Harley Quinn.
of Harley Quinn.
Yes. Wow. No, I
you hadn't heard that? Yeah, she passed away a couple of days ago. Yeah. Yep. May she rest in peace.
Kara Hughes. No, I do not mean 12th Night, although that is the play that they reference at the end. So yeah. And Kara, also congratulations on getting some poems in an anthology. Way to go.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Specific enough for you without it's mainly for how realistic Kaiko's reactions are. Okay, Caitlin. Steve just tell me that she's not teaching this.
Oh no, there are no. I don't believe there is any teaching in this episode. No,
I don't think I could take that. I might be like, stop. I'm stopping my copy of the episode now. We can talk about everything else. No.
You would exercise the nuclear option for the first time in the series. Because God forbid you have to sit through a 45-minute TV show that you don't like.
Be exceptionally reluctantly. That it wouldn't even be reluctantly. You could retitle this episode Trek No.
Trek refusedly.
Trek that.
Trek that. Well, Vilcata, yes, unfortunately, but only the original Quinn. Subsequent Harley Quinns are still with us. But it is, it's something. It's a point that a lot of people made when they were remarking on her death, that that original characterization of Harley, which has carried through to all of the subsequent adaptations and such. I mean, she as the voice actor really, really influenced that. Because I mean, for one thing, Harley was an original character, so there was no prior work to sort of draw upon. So she was created from whole cloth, and Arlene's own performance and personality really
very much
set who Harley was. So yeah.
Well, and not only that, but like they formed the character of Harley Quinn a lot based on some of the previous work she had done. Like she'd literally been they did in one of the soap operas that she'd been on. Yeah, she'd been a
Harlequin.
She'd been a Harlequin. A Harlequin style clown. Which is a little bit weird because let's be clear on this, because Batman never is. I mean, there's places where she talks about, Harlequin as in, the Italian clown. And she talks about the Commedia dell'arte. Harlequin is a male character. Let's be really clear. His female counterpart is Columbine, who wears a dress, not the traditional Harlequin suit. So anyway, we just gloss past that. It doesn't matter to the comics or the the DC characters at all. But it does amuse me that she's like, it's a character from the Commedia dell'arte. I'm like, a male character, and they never play with that, the fact that it is a male character, and they could have so much fun with like exploring what her choice to choose a male character for this. But
and yeah, Vilcata, I mean, this is just going from my own personal experience. So, I mean, yours may differ, but if you like season 1 of the Harley Quinn animated series, the subsequent seasons will knock you on your ass because it gets so much better after season 1. I watched season 1 of it and I thought, oh, this is okay. You know what I mean? Like it didn't blow me away, but from season 2 on was like, oh shit. Like this now, they're in the middle of the 4th season now, and I mean it's become one of my favorite shows. Like it's so funny, it's so goddamn funny every episode. I always look forward to when there's a new one. So yeah.
David, I don't know anything about Captain Shaw.
Oh, I believe that is a Star Trek Picard reference. Captain Shaw was the captain of the USS Titan in season 3 of Star Trek Picard.
Was he a vile jelly?
A little bit.
Or an overripe pudding?
He was a bit of an overripe pudding early on, and then he ripened and became a more appealing character. Yeah.
I don't think that's how. If you're overripe and then you ripen, you're more overripe.
Well, then, okay. Well, then they. I don't know what they do. I don't think you can fix an overripe fruit, but
don't
whatever.
think you
Maybe it's
can.
the future, so they figured it out. They
They
wound it back
figured it
somehow.
out.
Yeah.
Nope, I've been
Yeah.
getting riper and riper. It's been so much fun. I toss my hair. I toss my hair. And I point my finger and my sword.
Your large hamminess has grown larger and hammier as the days have gone on.
I think it was you that I told. I said, and they haven't told me to stop.
Yes.
So
Well, you know, it was when we were recording the podcast. You mentioned it to both me and Jason. That
yeah,
you
yep.
keep getting bigger and bigger, and it's like nobody's telling me to stop.
And then we said, "Okay, Danny, can we dial it back just a little?" Nope, we are just
Yeah.
Kara,
And-
yes, exactly. In Poirot's character, and it's Mr. Satterthwaite is usually the character, and Harley Quinn, like literally Harley Quinn, but with one N. For
Right.
Agatha Christie is one of the characters. So yeah.
255 AD. Yeah, I think I see what you mean, but we can talk about it more in depth after we've watched the episode. As far as like the white man's burden thing, we'll talk about it more after we've watched the episode. I'm very curious.
You're very
I'm very
curious
to see how you will feel about this week's episode, because I really like it, but it raises it raises certain issues and examines certain things, and I think it provides interesting subjects for discussion. Are you raising your hand? Yes.
I know how I'm gonna feel.
How?
Tired,
because that's how you feel now.
I'm just like, I'm doing my stuff for my ESOL class. I'm doing my schoolwork at school. Like, I don't have
Right, which is a line that you draw that you're pretty
lessons.
careful about respecting.
I've been really, really great about that. I often talk about school stuff or education stuff online. This morning, after I did my exercise and showered, I put in a question about, I've got some really low level readers, and I think they're faking their way through the low level books that I have. So for their choice reading, I'm like, so I need some suggestions for even lower books that they can actually read, that aren't like, that they're not going to be humiliated by, like, freaking Fox and Socks or something. Not that there's anything wrong with Fox and Socks. Fox and Socks is awesome. But the thing is, only a confident reader will read baby books and be like, because they know they're good at reading. So I don't care if somebody else sees them running around with like Dr. Seuss or Judy Moody or something like that. This is a book. They like, it's got a good story. They don't care if anybody else thinks it's a baby book. It's a good story. Screw it. But somebody who's not a confident reader, oh no, that is not okay. People are going to think that they're dumb because that's what they have heard, even if, directly and indirectly for like years now. So there's like, so I did do that this morning. And, I talk about, and last night for, on Twitter for EdChat, the topic was, and I was just like, okay, y'all want to do this, was, what is the conversation like? What are the topics of conversation in faculty rooms or faculty lounges? And I'm like, all right, go for it, so the people who suggest this topic are just like, are they talking about ChatGPT? Are they talking about book bans? And I was like, look out, if I go to the faculty lounge, it is to use the restroom, fill my water bottle, to make phone calls, because that is literally the only working phone in the school, unless I go to the office and ask around. The first time when I didn't know how to find, because it's like up on like the top of the shelf here, because there's no actual place for it. I didn't know it was there. And I asked around. I said, there's not one there. I've been in there. I haven't seen it. They said, well, here, you can go in here. And they opened the door to the principal's office. I'm like, are you sure? Because that feels really weird. I'm like, I've been here for like 2 weeks, y'all. I'm not sure about this. They're like, yeah, it's fine. It's like, okay. So I made about 20, calls home. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting out of here.
I'm not going to press my luck.
It was so weird and awkward. But I made my calls. Anyway, So yeah, like, how do people lounge at work? Like, they just, this is completely foreign to me. And like, some of them were saying, well, when I was, teaching, we would have these great professional conversations in the teacher's lounge. I'm like, I do not have time for this. Like, I have papers to grade and student feedback to give to students, and I have, I need to update the class website with our notes, and I need to develop or adjust lesson plans because I'm noticing that students aren't understanding this, or I want to adjust this to push this back and move this forward. I need to. I'm like,
Right.
nope, that stays at work. And so, like, I do all of that just at work, and then I've got the stuff for my ESOL class, which, like, I've had 2 assignments since July, and then I have the play, and that's it.
But that's a lot, especially the play. Like,
It
that
doesn't
demands a
feel
lot
like
of your time.
it should be a lot. 2 assignments since July, work that stays at work, and the play. Now, we did have tech week last week, so we had rehearsal every night, but other than that, rehearsal has been Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday.
Right, but
And
you
a
had
lot
to
of those
learn your
days we
part.
haven't had. Huh?
You had to learn your part.
I had to learn my part.
Well,
Like,
I mean, that demands time and concentration.
it does. I mean, at this point, I know my part, but I still don't.
Well, yeah, because you've been working on it for like a month, but I mean, 2 months.
Looking through the chat.
Yeah, look through the chat and respond to 1 or 2 more, and then let's watch the episode, because you requested before we started that we cut things a little short because you are exhausted.
Liz, some teachers eat in the faculty lounge, and I've done that sometimes, but mostly I just take protein bars because then because I got stuff to do. And it's so much easier. And also, I'm slightly bummed because this is in the same system, but a different school, and they do things a little bit different ways. Like, the school that I used to be at, they would have both hot lunch options in both lines. And this one, you go to this line, you get this option. So, like, taco soup day is always with cheeseburger day. So what I used to be able to do is go in and get the taco soup lunch, but then say, can I also have just the patty from the cheeseburger? And then I would rip up the patty and put it in the taco soup, because the taco soup has a chicken as its protein. So I would have chicken and beef in the taco soup, and then the cheese would melt in. So good. But now I can't do that. So I'm a little sad about that. Anyway, so usually I just have the protein bar and I eat in my room when I get stuff done. So I don't know. I've just got, and some of it's because I'm new and I'm developing lessons and I'm writing new assessments and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And maybe it's just me, but yeah.
So, shall we?
Let's go for it. So everybody, there's
All right.
a time code here. Up, down, up. Time code is up here. So, and we're on Paramount Plus. So if you are watching it somewhere that has ads, we do not have ads, except at the very beginning. We played to the ad and then paused. We're in the dark after the ad.
We're on 0-0. We're at the very beginning of the episode.
Yep. So you can synchronize it with that. If you get a little above or ahead or behind, it's not a big deal, because, like, we're not chanting along with it. If you want to chant along with it, that's fine. Good luck.
That's for your own private fun.
Yeah. You can tell us in the chat that you're chanting along with it, and I'll just be like, good for you.
You can even not be chanting along with it and just tell us that in the chat, and we'll believe you.
I will totally believe you. Yeah. And, like, here's the thing. This is one of the best things about it. I can't chant along with it. Like I do so many times with other stuff.
And once again, hopefully you all have it queued up and ready to go, but just in case you don't, it is season 4, episode 17, Accession. That is the episode of Deep Space Nine that we are watching. So, ready, Dana?
Steve is Steve is gonna say 3, 2, 1, play. And when Steve says play, that's when you click play.
Exactly.
Oh wait, no, we have to pause. Why did you? I didn't say. Now I have to hang on. Like, I didn't actually click the button. I was just, like, waking up the screen, and then it said, "Oh, you clicked the button." I'm like,
"You must want to play."
I love playing, but, like, what the heck? No. Okay, there's the thing. Go back 10 seconds because I'm at 2. Now I'm at 0. All right. We're good now.
Ready?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
so ready.
I will
Okay.
count us in then. Here we go.
Hooray!
In 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh, we don't start with the beauty shot. Cold open. That's what they call it in the biz, Steve. Oh, Brian, you dork. Who are we?
Fun's over. Wife's coming home.
Wow, they suck. Thank you, David. TikTok. I love pizza. Look, Lotta, no, honestly, I'm eager to get through it so that I can go to bed. Her hair's gotten really long. Oh, she got a cute dimple. Look at that. Oh my God, it's Chucky.
Surprise! It's not yours.
I told her before you.
Now the fun's really over.
Caitlin, exactly. It's Bajor and Chucky. Sometimes here and sometimes I'm out on a ship going, blowing stuff up.
Well, I can't be at the temple every minute of every goddamn day. Thank you for wearing my costume from the pilot.
We hired you because you fit into it. Oh, he hauled in the baseball. Is that why you picked this episode, Steve?
Yes, that's the only reason.
I the baseball.
Repeat after me. Mecca lecca hi, mecca hiney ho. See, I think
Are we done here?
I think you should complete the blessing by touching them on the forehead with the baseball. This is the part of the job I hate.
Oh, funsies. Look.
Exactly, David.
It's late 20th century CGI. Woohoo! Bloop. Carrie, you better get down there pretty quick. This is like, great, I can retire.
Off the hook. Cisco's already packing his bag, taking a vacation.
Woohoo!
Caitlin, exactly. He seems to just let that go right by. I'm sorry, a what space station?
A station in space. What is difficult about that?
What's a truck?
I'm sorry, Kara. Actually, no. I like my cackle.
I
I'm sorry
think
that
you
you don't
have the
like it.
I think you have the best cackle.
You would.
DJ Waffle, it reminds me of another show too, Star Trek.
Doesn't remind me of nothing.
Vilcata, that's hilarious. He gives. I love that Cisco has like an Iggy that he gives Julian, like he's like, take care of this for me, would you?
No, Cisco's like, yes, I don't have to be the emissary. That's the boo. David Corden, that's such a great question. What do you want? Actually, honestly, what I want is a good night's sleep. So nice. That would be so.
Well, after this.
Oh, thank you, Kara.
I'm free. You know it?
I'm famous.
Have I got royalties coming or?
Caitlin, exactly.
255
She's
AD,
like,
I'll pay attention for that while we watch it this time, but I don't think why he was in space is ever explained. And I don't really think you need to. I mean, he was.
I'm off the hook.
Don't ruin this for me, Dax.
Kinda want it.
Because I'm looking for a loophole.
I took you 2 minutes to what I got to. Oh, there was an Ella there.
No more pencils, no more books, no more prophets, dirty looks. Well, with an Irish, it's never just one, is it, Chief?
Ah, I saw that coming.
And yes, I am the father.
Yay.
By the way, I want to schedule that vasectomy as soon as possible.
You'd know.
I would.
Right, Worf's reaction. No, I'm going to go hide. I will make sure of it.
Something has just will have come up. I've got to go plan
Michael
ahead.
Thorne nailed that.
Got to go make some long-term plans now. Kara, that's good, but that's a little bit of a spoiler. Plus, we've had we've had Molly all these years, and I'm still not all that attached to her.
Well, really, I mean, once the baby's born, Molly can take care of it. There you go. That's what older sisters are for.
Hey, there you go. Guess what, Molly?
Oh, 255 AD. Of course, Julian was genuinely asking. Worf's like Klingon. Klingons don't believe in jokes.
Exactly. Well, now you're getting into a
He was the
philosophical
interim
discussion I'm
emissary.
not prepared to
He just
have.
didn't know it at the time. Trial by combat. But I can't seem to avoid it.
Or as Archie Bunker once said, faith is something that you believe that nobody in his right mind would believe. We will make Bajor great again!
Oh, I see some frownies there.
They're alien, see, so they don't clap like we do. They clap a different way.
Well, there are plenty of humans who clap like this.
Oh,
I mean, there are
there
different ways that humans clap
way?
too. I'm very curious if he is following his Dajara.
The priest?
Yeah.
Great minds, David. Mob rule. Gotta love it.
I mean, if the people of Bajor see it that way, then the Federation can just piss off. That's the way democracy works. Oh? Mr. I love the ants. Yeah, he's a poet. I mean, there's nothing that says that poets can't travel. I mean,
Exactly.
maybe he was
He just
looking
went on a
for
little trip.
inspiration.
He just took a little trip. Oh, you're one of the untouchables. Cool.
So, sure, if it's better than the Federation, y'all can go away. Goodbye.
Sure. Oh man, talk about a missed opportunity.
I
I
mean,
guess
that's
it's too late
majority
for me to
rule. Now,
ask
that doesn't mean the
Benedictine
middle.
here.
Yeah, at 255 AD, that's majority rule. That's why there are legal protections in place for people who aren't the majority to avoid oppression. But and there are, there's room for subversion. If you don't agree with majority rule, then do something about it. But at the same time, be aware that there will be consequences for your actions. You know, own your choices.
And yeah, Carrie. I mean, it is a form of segregation. It's a form of at least it's analogous to institutionalized racism. It may not be exactly the
Institutionalized
same thing,
segregation.
but it's saying like you are in the wrong group, so or you only have certain rights as determined by what group you happen to fall into. You know.
And it also has it also there's no equal inherent worth. Inherent worth is relative. Some people are
Right.
worth more than others,
Right.
coincidentally.
Yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Who are you? I mean, that's a really good question.
Well, Ben, do you have an answer?
It'll never happen again. I've been trying to tell you. I mean, because like the thing is, we have something like that in America. I mean, people gravitate towards because it's the fact that it wasn't until the whoever that lady got up and said, "Oh, but you're a thus and such," that there's also a value attached to it. That it's not just about occupation, and those are two different things. They're not the distinction between them really matters.
And Azalea, I think that's a really good question. If castes were reinstated, what should the Federation do if an anti-caste Bajarans petition them for help. I think the Federation would still say it's an internal matter. I mean, even though
Mhm.
Bajor is a warp-capable civilization and like first contact isn't a thing, like I think the Federation would still say like that's an internal matter and we don't want to interfere.
Skill trumps talent every time. The uniform looks just like what the other lady in red was wearing. Oh, that's fun. You just didn't try hard enough, Kira. Oh, yeah.
Have you considered
I
not
don't like him.
sucking so much at everything you try?
Yeah, as a teacher, that nonsense doesn't fly. Mom, Dad, why are you being gross?
Knock it off. It's not a pony, it's an otter with 4 penises.
Azalea, you ain't wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kara, there's a lot of ways to be an artist. Sharing is caring, little wench.
Now I want to hear O'Brien call his own daughter a wench.
Oh, Kara. Oh, gravy. Yeah, Kara, that was kind of a turn point moment for me. Let me look that up. Kara, I want to come back to that idea later. Yep, well, like somebody showed up out of the wormhole, Starfleet. Suck it.
There's just no pleasing these Starfleet guys.
I know, Starfleet sucks. They'll get over themselves.
Save it.
Right, who wants to turn? Nice delivery.
Yeah.
But
Acting.
he then writing. He didn't get to
Isn't
ask
it so
her.
much easier to make a good TV show when you believe that the characters give a shit about each other?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm saying. Oh, Quark's Bar. Well, that just happens to be right over here. And I'll just stop in for a quick pint. Cream soda down the hatch.
Kara, no, it's not like that at all. It's really not like that at all. No. You'll never know what would happen. Find out.
Stupid Morn. God, I hate him.
What was Morn saying? Someone tell Morn to shut up. What did he say? I missed that.
He doesn't. Well, Morn never says anything. That's the joke.
Oh, that's the joke. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
Ooh, sounds sexy.
No.
You're arresting me for the murder I did? I don't believe this.
Kara, I don't see the connection there. Too late. Kara, Rob was right. It has nothing to do with being arrested. Those are two different axes.
But this is the priest's argument.
I don't. Okay. Like I said
The priest
before,
obviously thinks that what he did was
own your
right.
choices. Like, change the law, and then it won't be murder.
Okay.
Guess what? You didn't change the law.
Change the law,
murder.
then it won't be murder.
Cool motive, still murder. Blah de blah de blah.
Fight to the death.
Ask the prophets.
Booyah.
See, I actually do a thing. Excuse me. Swoosh.
Oh, prophets.
Because like earlier he said something like, if they refuse to follow their Dejara, they can be deported. And the dude said nothing about, murder. Still don't understand what that has to do with race or being an artist.
We don't care.
Then why ain't you there? David, that doesn't make sense, though. I mean, if the prophets did heal him and send him back in time, then Bejor would have, historical records of this great, revered dude. Like, they wouldn't have a record of him necessarily returning. They would have additional poems, presumably.
Indeed. Gee, I wonder if that'll come up in a few minutes.
attention to. God, I'm so glad I'm rid of you.
And also because of you. Yes, yes, you too. Yes.
Oh God, that eye roll. Dude, is she cheating or something? Caitlin is like,
Looks like she stabbed that chopstick through its head in frustration.
it's really interesting because like this part is thinner, so she went like that, not down through like that. Kara, it's Kira's vision. That's what it is. Wait. 14? She's
That's what
turning
she said. That's what he said.
Well, of course, they're pejorative. They look different. I'm just gonna go with that. That's 14 is old.
I wish they wouldn't come up to me on my break like that. The end.
The end. So what do you want to talk about?
So I think.
Oh, actually,
I mean,
before we do, was it Kara? Was it you who mentioned disability and just you just need to pray harder? Was it Kara who said that?
Yeah.
So, James 5:16. One of the ones that really has stuck with me over the years. Therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective.
Yes.
So, there you go.
And
if you are a righteous person, your prayer will be effective. The Bible says so.
And if I can quote my favorite verse of scripture, I believe it's Matthew 56:21. Wish in one hand, shit in the other. See which one fills up first.
Pretty sure that's not Matthew. My favorite is actually Micah 6:8, but it's unrelated.
My favorite verse in the Bible is a verse from Matthew, but it's not. I can't remember the exact, number. But yeah, it's the one that says it's the one where it's, and I can't remember I can never remember the precise wording of the King James, but it's a verse that you'll be familiar with. It that which you do to the least of these, my brethren, you do also to me.
Yeah, usually it's whatever you do.
Yeah. So anyway, but I thought this episode is interesting because it, it presents us with a version of a caste system, which is, something that has existed in societies in actual history, and which we have thankfully mostly evolved beyond. Um, you know, but it still, it raises certain issues and certain questions. Like we were talking about earlier, the idea that, well, sorry, you were born into the wrong group, so you're not allowed to do that, and how that sort of thing is wrong. We should not find that acceptable. You know.
What? So your pap worked on the railroad.
Yes.
What kind of job? Your dad, he was in the Navy for a while.
Dad was in the Navy, and yes, and then he worked
And
as a maintenance technician for 30 some years. Yeah.
So repair, building and repair type stuff.
Yeah, and maintenance, keeping things running, fixing things, et cetera, et cetera.
And Danny?
Danny is a mechanic. He works on cars. So, yeah, there is definitely a family through line. Yeah.
Exactly.
And yes, you come from teachers. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. And
yes.
And your daughter is working in education now. So.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But that's not, but that's a little different than saying like, oh, your mother and father were teachers, therefore you must also be a teacher. And if you don't want to be a teacher, too bad. You are breaking the rules of our society. That is your assigned lot,
Right. But I think it would be better to look at it as encouraging us to explore where those boundaries are. So because we have opportunities, we have connections, there's familiarity. Like I know even when things are rough, I know how to work a school system. I know how to get by when things are bad because of, some of the things that my dad went through. And I wouldn't have that in another career field. So,
well, I'm not. There's nothing wrong with following in your parents' footsteps, but
right. There's nothing wrong with it, but there's different levels. There's different levels of social pressure and societal requirements. From pressure to expectation to requirement. It's a continuum, and what the consequences are. Like originally they said, if somebody doesn't, then they might get deported, and then later we find out, oh yeah, also they get killed. That's perfectly okay to some people. So
to some people,
but there are clearly other, like even earlier on when he was talking about bringing the caste systems, you saw people in the crowd who were not okay with this. And
sure.
I meant to say, and I don't know I don't think I got to say it, when Kira is essentially offering up suggestions for someone else to take up first officer, Sisko doesn't ask if she says she feels she has to do this. And Sisko doesn't ask her if she wants to and why she wants to. Mm-hmm. And she's not that old. There ain't any reason why she can't become an artist, and even a good one. Like I don't know. Clearly Bajorans lived, the priest dude had like gray hair and stuff. Clearly Bajorans lived for a while longer. She's got years to learn. They seem to have
comparable to human lifespans, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the thing about it that struck me is, Deep Space Nine has a very of all the Star Trek shows, Deep Space Nine has the most interesting view of religion because it has the most nuanced view. Because even in this one episode, you see the good side and the bad, where you see how because the whole justification for the caste system is, well, supposedly this is how the prophets want it. This is the path that the prophets have told us to walk. And let me finish before you step in here. This is the path that the prophets want. This is the path that the prophets want them to walk. And we see how destructive it can be to just unquestioningly do that. hey, the new emissary says we're supposed to go back to the Dajars, so that's what we have to do. And as a result of that, you see, well, Kira is ready to throw her whole career away to go become an artist, which she apparently has never wanted to do or had any aptitude for. The priest kills the, whatever you would call him, the monk, because he's in the untouchable caste and he wouldn't get out of the way and he wouldn't resign like a good member of his caste should and whatever. So you see the really destructive part of it. But then you also see a positive aspect of it, which is its ability to bring people together, its ability to lift people up. You see that Cisco has come to enjoy some aspects of it. He enjoys being able to bless people and being able to make people feel included and feel, smiled upon. And, so there are good parts and bad parts, and you see them both demonstrated in this episode. Now, what was the point you were so desperate to make?
I don't know.
You forgot already.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I looked over and Caitlin said, might be useful to write it down, Dana. And I looked down and I'm like, there's the pen, and it was gone. That's Caitlin. It's your fault. No, I'm just kidding. It's my brain.
So fucking important. You were about to railroad right over me.
No, I wasn't. Did you see? I pushed my lips together. I was like, so I wanted to let you know silently so that you can keep going and actually get your point done before I forgot, which you did not do.
Sorry.
Are you?
Sorry.
Are you?
I'm deeply sorry. I'm grieved. No, I'm not really that
Why?
sorry. No, to be completely honest with you, I'm not really sorry.
See, I believe you. So I think what threw me off was one of the points you made along the way, because you said about Kira not having any aptitude. And I'm like, screw aptitude. Aptitude really does not matter. After you're like 6, aptitude doesn't matter at all. What matters is skill and practice and learning. And she had somebody who was willing to apprentice her.
Then instead of aptitude, I will say interest. She has never exhibited any interest in art or becoming an artist or even practicing art as like a hobby. It just doesn't seem like it's where her interest lies at all. But because the Dajaris say that's what you're supposed to be, then that's what you have to do.
The occupation took over, was everything to her childhood. It wasn't introduced to her. She never considered it. She never explored it because, she's very purpose driven. And then once it's introduced to her as a possible purpose for her, like this is something she's meant to do, then she's like, I'm going to be good at this. And like, it's not really explored as, so why? And granted, it's one episode, so they can't really explore it, but it gives us the opportunity to talk about that, the idea that, so what is it that would make this mean? Why would the prophets want an entire cast of people to be artists? Like, why might the prophets want that? What can we give to our people and to the prophets? So, I think they don't really have the time to explore all the possible nuances. Something you said about looking at the bad side of religion and how the unquestioningness of just blindly following, well, this guy is chosen by the prophets or says he's chosen by the prophets, truly believes it, honestly believed it. And so we should just do what he says. Like, I don't really see that as a religion issue. Because it is an issue in religion, but it's an issue in other parts of, you know what I mean? That seems
but it's presented in a religious context in this episode.
Yes, in this case, it's presented in a religious context. Yeah.
Somebody else mentioned something in the chat I wanted to bring up, and then if you want, we can do Wordle and then wrap it up.
25580, if you want to re-put those comments in there, that would be great, because other people were saying some things and we were responding to some of what they said. and
Yeah,
may
I
have
didn't
missed yours.
see.
It's
I
okay.
didn't see. I don't. I don't see the comment you're referring to, 25580. So if you want to put it in again, but anyway, Pablo said Deep Space Nine's views are the most nuanced. Also, they work. They only work because the gods really exist in the Star Trek universe. Um, and yeah, I think Deep Space Nine. I mean, the Star Trek universe works very differently than our universe does. There are multiple godlike beings that we see people
Hmm.
interacting with. All like there's Q, there's Trelane, there's multiple aliens that we meet throughout the different Star Trek shows and movies that have godlike abilities. But I think Deep Space Nine does a good job with it with the prophets because even though the prophets do have a verifiable existence, unlike the gods that people believe in actual religions, the will of the prophets, what the prophets want from people, is still pretty unknowable. Yes.
I got
Yes.
it.
Tell
Because
me.
you were talking about, that they're doing this because it's what the prophets want. But he also
Yes.
mentions that, if we do what the prophets want, it will bring back health and prosperity and comfort and joy to Bajor and to Bajorans. Like being aligned with the will of the prophets brings harmony. And that's the purpose. And that is definitely, comfort and joy and harmony and connection. Those are all good things. Those are good. Like, so
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
part of it. Let's also make that.
For sure. Azalea, is that the episode where it ends with Uhura relaying the news that like Christianity is basically starting to spread on the planet? The sun, the sun double meaning. Yeah, that's a little. 2580. Yeah, the white man's burden thing. I mean, it's such a common trope. I don't know if it's really fair to blame Deep Space Nine for it because I mean there are all kinds of stories where like, I mean, where you have a character who is not a member of a group be made to symbolize the best of the group, or like the guy who was adopted by the tribe becomes the greatest champion in the tribe or whatever. And with Cisco being a non-Bajaran and now he's the emissary, and then in this episode his role is, oh, I've set aside being the emissary, but now for the good of Bajor I must take it back. I guess there's a little bit of white man's burden in that, and
Nope.
it's Cisco's job as the non-Bajaran to fix this Bajaran society and to save it from itself. But I don't think that's quite.
No.
I mean, like the idea
No.
is that Cisco. The idea is that Cisco is the rightful emissary, and the prophets have dropped in this other guy who claims he's the emissary to enable Cisco to more fully accept his role as the emissary and to want to be the emissary. Um, you
No.
know,
I mean, yes, about that last part.
please, you're dying to say something, please.
I don't think it's white saviorism at all. Cisco does not see himself as more qualified, like remotely. Like he just doesn't. Like we have. I mean, it's literally shown to us that yes, the prophets have chosen him.
Right, white
And
man's
yes,
burden is more like the white man's burden is something that the white man
takes
upon
himself.
Yes, and says,
100%. That is very,
Yeah.
very important. He also
Yeah.
does not he does not see the Bajorans as some kind of lesser beings. Also really important, and also a real big point of that's hugely connected to the white man's burden and the connection to the white man's burden between the white man's burden and colonialism. Like the entire pillaging of the pillaging of an entire freaking continent and beyond, like several continents.
I mean,
all of Pacifica.
You could argue that there is a colonialism angle because part of Cisco's goal is to see Bajor incorporated into the Federation. But the Federation in Star Trek, even though I think, the Federation is often used as a metaphor for the United States specifically and for Western civilization in general, the Federation is also presented canonically as a benevolent force. And we don't see the Federation, at least when unless it's like a rogue admiral or something who's gone into business for themselves, like when the Federation doesn't seem to operate the same way that colonial powers in actual history did. You know, it
They're not
doesn't.
that
It's not as
evil.
it's not as exploitative. You know, as because it's
But
fiction and
in
it's a little
this
bit of a fairy
episode,
tale.
we
But
see that they're like, oh, well, things aren't working our way. Well, screw you. I mean, they're pretty harsh with Cisco in this one. He's like,
well,
I did what they wanted.
because one of their rules. If Bajor officially adopted a caste system, then they wouldn't be allowed in the Federation because the Federation demands equality. And if you don't have
Right.
equality on your
But
planet, then you can't be in the club. Sorry. You know, they're not
but
going to
they're
force you to
bringing
have equality, but they're going to say if you don't have it, you can't be in, you know?
okay. So what does that have to do with Cisco? It's not his fault that the people of Bajor are choosing this. Like, he's done what he can to present, this is what the Federation offers. I think it would be, a mistake to give that up for this. But I mean, respect for their sovereignty, like, that should matter to the Federation. And if it doesn't, then that is colonialist. Just saying. That's what I feel pretty strongly about that, in case it didn't come through.
I mean, you make a good argument. Yeah, Pablo. Yes, the U.S. is canonically presented as benevolent by the government, you know, and there are a lot
and
of
the
people,
mainstream, and almost all media, like not even just
the
mainstream
main,
media,
yeah,
but like media.
yeah.
So, and yeah, I like the idea of exploring the difference between like socially developed caste systems like we have in most societies. Like I said, you kind of gravitate towards what you're familiar with. Familiarity is like so powerful. But looking at as on a different axis from legally enforced caste systems and exactly
Well,
what the consequences are, it's really worth exploring.
I think if it's not enforced either through some legal means or through like really strong social pressure at the very least, then I don't know if it's even fair to call it a caste system. I mean, I don't think it's a caste system if, people follow in the same careers as their parents. But,
right.
They have opportunities to do something else.
There. Yes, there's a connection there though. And I think one sort of segues toward the other, and there can be pushback against it as well. You're not following in the family footsteps. I mean,
no, definitely not.
Definitely not. Well, on the other hand, you are like, you are a builder of sorts. You create works, and it's a stretch, but I mean, there's and definitely you work with technology and mechanical type stuff, and you have to jury rig things sometimes and find out a way to fix it so you don't have to pay for a new dadgum thing every time. So there are some connections.
I would say the clearer connection between what I do now for a living and my parents and grandparents and family, etc., is that we're all very gifted talkers.
I believe you.
We're all gifted talkers, and specifically my dad and Pap, his dad, are great storytellers and joke tellers and anecdote tellers, etc., etc. So I feel like, I have picked up on a little bit of that for this. So to me, that's more of a connection than even, finding like a way to massage a definition of building and, to say, well, kind of what you do is a little builder, a little buildery, but,
255D, I'm going to check this one last question from you. That you genuinely have no issue with the Federation doing nothing when a society they have deep diplomatic connections with starts doing bad stuff like segregation. Well, deep diplomatic connections, like I said, the initial response was, oh, well, we'll deport them. Great response from the Federation is, sure, come on in as members of the, citizens of the Federation. You can choose another home. We will welcome you. We will help you find a new home if Bajor throws you out. We will help you find placement in your chosen career that you are not allowed to do on Bajor. I do think, and then of course you ideally maintain those diplomatic connections so that if it starts getting genocide-y, that's when you step in and say, no, that's not okay. We will, perhaps not officially, but measures will be taken
Yeah,
to prevent that.
I can see the Federation using like a kind of soft power to sort
Mm-hmm.
of strongly encourage the
And
Bajarians
I
to
mean,
not
and
go in that direction, you know.
if a large proportion of the people on Bajor want to follow this strict caste system, and they are willing to allow an out for people who want to opt out of it, and they can go and live in the Federation, yes, that is, that's sort of awesome. There's definitely social pressure there, but you have options. You have choice. There's always consequences for your choices. So, I mean, it's. I don't see that it is worse than being, sort of snubbed by your family for not following in the family career, but it's just a matter of scale. Once we start killing people, then that's when,
Yeah,
that's when things start happening more quickly, let's say.
indeed.
Well, Seth, the prime directive means they can't officially interfere because, things happen.
Indeed.
Shall we wordle?
Pablo, you're probably gone by now, but I'm glad you could be here with us, and hope you have a good night.
Good night. I will soon say that as well.
Shall we play Wordle, and then you can
Wordle,
and good night too.
I will be going off and putting my hair up and soaking in the tub.
Alrighty. So we're going to play Wordle, and we're going to wrap this baby up. This is today's Wordle, the official Wordle from the New York Times. And the way this works, if you've never played Wordle with us before, is Dana is not actually looking at the Wordle board. She is only going by my description of it. But we play as a team. And if you are watching and you would like to play by putting in your guesses and suggestions in the chat, we welcome that. We can play as a group, all of us together. The only thing we ask is if you have solved today's Wordle and you know the answer, please do not give it away. Now then, shall we begin?
Yes, let's.
Heart?
Yes. Heart is such an excellent beginner.
Heart. And, well, it's not such an excellent beginner this time. It gives us an A in the wrong place, and that's it.
Well, then let's go for lions.
Lions.
David Gordon, I'm sure that a certain section of Starfleet is always running its mouth. I don't even know which section you're talking about. Probably security, given, given that that's where Steve Johnson is.
Section 31, I believe he's referencing there.
Okay. Not bad.
Lions gives us an I and an O, also both in the wrong place.
So we have A, I, and O.
A, I, and O. No L,
wow.
No N, no S. So
or
it
T.
could be it could be or T or R or E or H. So it could be A. It could be something AI.
Something AI. There's an O though, right?
There is an O. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, AI would work, or OI, right?
OI.
If you
Yes,
reverse
that's true.
the O and
OI
I.
would work too. Yeah.
Yeah, Caitlin, that wouldn't work because of lions telling us the I's in the wrong place. Whew, boy, that's rough.
This is a tough one.
So it's probably the O is my guess is O is the second letter.
Okay, so something O.
Wait. Mr. 696 got a good answer. Ouija.
Ooh.
I would go for that at this point.
You want to try Ouija?
Because I think all the vowels have been moved. And it also tries the U. Yeah, go for it.
Let's try Ouija.
And wait. Audio is also a possibility. Oh, wait. Lions. HEART. Audio is also a possibility.
Audio would work, yeah. Well, we can try both.
Let's go for audio because D is more common than J.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's try audio. AUDIO.
Guys, you guys are so awesome.
Indeed. Oh, that's it. It's
Oh,
audio.
such a great team, everybody. Oh my gosh. It's just like, it really delights me.
That's fantastic.
It really is. I love it. Like when you know, like we're talking it through and I'm watching the chat and I can't, like I have to think about it. I'm like, okay, where are the letters? Where did they not go?
Sam said audio. Good job, Sam.
Nice job. And Mr. System 96, thanks for that suggestion of having more vowels rather than less. Because usually I just leave the U out until we guess, you know, we're close enough to guess what it is. Yay! Yeah. We did it. We make a great team, everybody. Huzzah. Yay! I love our group. So,
shall we call the festivities to a close?
Let's. And I've got my schedule, my calendar here. I think next week, it might be next week that I have my thingy, my ESOL class.
Okay. So we might not be here next week.
What is today? Sure. 6th?
Today is the 30th.
Crap. I don't actually have it written on this one. It's written on the one that I've got at school.
Today's the 30th, so next week will be the 6th.
Is the 6th. And I don't remember. I think it's the 6th. I think it's next week that I'm off. Or that I'm off of this because I have the class.
Right.
Okay, well, that's, so Mr. System 96, it's okay because if we had, that was just our first 2 guesses on lines, on heart and lines. So we had plenty of guesses to go through. And that helped us as well. Right. So then not next week, but the week after, we'll be doing Poirot. What are we going to watch for that one?
Yes. Our next episode of Poirot will be The Disappearance of Mr. Davenheim.
I don't think I'm familiar with that one as a short story.
Interesting.
So let's do our wrap up.
So next episode will be Poirot, the Disappearance of Mr. Davenheim, and then after that, when we return to Deep Space Nine, oh boy, another highlight, another long-awaited episode.
They're all highlights, you nerd.
The next Deep Space Nine episode we will watch is a little episode called, and the Deep Space Nine fans in the audience will recognize this one right away. A little episode called Hard Time, which I will say, Dana,
I'm guessing it's not related to the Dickens novel.
No, it's actually the story of the Big Boss Man. No, it's what I believe I did a video a few years ago, and I believe I chose it as
oh god, that one.
I believe I chose it as the darkest episode of Star Trek.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay, so brief story time. So one of my students finished their choice novel, and it was let's say it's Pixar worthy. And she's like, wondering, these kids are going on a journey. They've escaped a bad home, situation, and then it turns out that the younger sibling is disabled, and oh no, and she's like, this is so beautiful and sad, and I'm just like, okay, you're done with that. So I gave her a choice, this one, between The Probability of Everything, which is a near future sci-fi novel in which the young adult aged protagonist is the protagonist, and everybody finds out, scientists discover that there's an asteroid coming toward Earth and it's going to hit, and there's nothing we can do. Whoops. And so this protagonist is somebody who copes with stress and difficult situations by figuring out probabilities, very math and science minded. And so it is coming to terms with their own impending death and the death of everyone that they know.
Sounds like fun.
So that's what that one's about.
Sounds like some nice light summer reading.
And the other one is A Long Way Gone, which is a memoir subtitled Memoirs of a Child Soldier.
Oh, great. So
some
happy reading. Yeah.
And I said, so this is this person's memoir. It's a story of their life, their story of their life. Look on the back. You see a picture of this person as an adult. So does this person die in the story? No. I said, you're right. This person doesn't die. However, anybody they meet, anybody they care about, anybody else along the way is fair game. Both of these books will pull your heart out of your chest, rip it to shreds in front of you, throw it on the ground, stomp on it, and then hand it back to you and say, enjoy. She's like, oh.
So have fun.
So I do have like a happy, fluffy book in reserve if they need it.
If needed.
But this student just got so into this, deeply and well written for the first one. I was like, oh, I think you'll like this one, because it was a recommendation I made, and they just got so into it. I was like, I'm going to step it up and see if you can take it. And then I have something that's also dramatic, but not as traumatic as their next read. So it's just, they're like, I don't know if I like this book. It's set like in another country, and then they just got, I can't pronounce these names. Like, you don't know how to pronounce these names. I know you hear it in the voice in your head, but if it's wrong, it's okay. And they just got so into it. And I'm just like, I'm winning at life. It just makes me so happy when they start to be like, okay, this doesn't suck. Okay, I kind of like this. I'm like, so 255 AD, it's called The Probability of Everything. I'll type it. So go ahead.
Okay. And Kara, yes, we are going to watch a film on another Friday. We haven't picked which Friday that's going to be yet because of how busy Dana is, but we have decided what the next movie will be, have we not?
Yes. Shall we tell them?
Do you want to tell people? Again, we don't know when this is going to be yet.
We don't know when.
Some Friday coming up in the nearish future. Yes.
I think we can manage it sometime in September. Like,
okay.
I've got the performance. I'd like to, probably not like right away, but maybe later in September.
Okay. So so that this will be for the next edition of our Back Row live stream series. And what movie are we going to watch, Dana?
Gosford Park.
Gosford Park.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that because
fun.
I remember seeing that back in the day and really liking it, and I have not seen it in many, many years. So I'm looking forward to watching it again. So
didn't you hear? I'm the perfect servant. I have no life. Well, who is also in the Barbie movie that you still haven't seen, and so we can't talk about it.
I told you I'm going to see it when it's out on streaming. I'm going to watch it. I'm not going to the theater. When it comes out on streaming, I will watch it as soon as I see it's available. I will watch it. Speaking of cast, yeah, exactly, Liz. There you go. Connections.
So
Steve
is doing some awesome things. Is your political videos recently? Your political humor videos have been just like chef's kiss.
Thank you.
They've been fabulous. So if you don't already, and you would like to support Steve, there's a button somewhere down here. You can certainly darn well better subscribe if you ain't already. Indeed. And like this video as well. Always helps. Every little bit helps. And then you can also, if you don't want to become a member, you can instead, for whatever reason, go over to patreon.com/Steve Shives, and you can support there. So it's a great way to help out. And you can send in a question for Ask Away, because Steve is going to be back live on Friday, and I will not be Friday. Here, I've got one more weekend of performances, but I have already sent in my question. So there.
You have indeed. You have indeed.
I have indeed. So, and also, I haven't done anything with my channel lately. I'm really sorry. I'm a little bit sorry, actually. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff. And I'm also thinking about exactly what it is that my students need, lessons that I haven't, don't already have videos for, videos that I want to shorten and condense or break into parts, those sorts of things. So I'm thinking about those things. But I would just be over them if you wanted to go to patreon.com/Dana Coldares.
Correct.
Okay, thanks. I'm always a little bit worried that I'll get it wrong. You can support my channel there, or you can just go to my channel, youtube.com/Dana Coldares, and leave me a comment. And it doesn't cost you a cent.
Exactly.
So, and also, last but not least, in the description, there are ways to help people, such as the strike funds and other
Yes.
charities, organizations that help SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild while they're striking, because
Yep.
making no money. So having some help, super helpful. And then
Supporting the strikes
also
very important.
charity
Yes.
links, also charitylinks.page, because there are people who don't happen to belong to the Writers Guild of America or the Screen Actors Guild and such, and they could still use some help. So you can look at those if you happen to have some financial ability and you can help people out. Helping people is good.
Absolutely.
That's all.
That's all. All right, everybody. So we will not be seeing you next week, most likely, because Dana has ESOL class.
Mm-hmm.
But we will
I'm going to
see
learn
you,
lots. Yay!
But we will see you in 2 weeks for Poirot and the disappearance of David Davenheim. And I will see you on Friday in 2 days for Ask Away. So thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Have
Bye,
a good
all.
night. Have a good whatever it is, wherever you are. Thanks for joining us.
A night, whatever.
We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.